Hi guys, this is Christy Falk with Create with Christy. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the US. Well, today I'm here with a card that uses the products that are in the Hues of Happiness suite. Love this suite, and I have good news. The Happiness Abounds bundle had been unavailable, but it's available now. I just checked. It got here early, wasn't supposed to come till next week. So if you want to purchase anything in this suite, you now can. And if you can look down in the video description and find my online store link, and click on that, and then you can search for Hues of Happiness, and that'll show you all the different things in that suite. Okay, so if you want to make this card with me, just look down the video description, click that blog post link below, and you'll find the dimensions and the supply list of everything I use to make this card. And then you can come back and make it with me. Okay, let's get started. Okay, first off, I want to show you the bundle. This is the Happiness Abounds bundle. When you purchase the bundle, you save 10% versus buying them separately. Isn't that stamp set beautiful? And I love the font, and I love the dies that go along with it. Now, if you're going to make this card with me, the stamps you want to get this big flower and this one with a little stem, both of the leaves, and the congratulations stamp. And then with the dies, we need the big flower die. We need, let's see, oh, nope, this is the one. It has the little stem. We need this neat background one. You're going to love how this works out. And then we need both of the leaf dies. And those are all the dies we're using on this card. I also want to show you the beautiful, or the Glossy Dots assortment. These are also in the suite and the designer series paper, which is called Hues of Happiness. But aren't those gorgeous? I love the colors. I think it's Gorgeous Grape. I can't remember the pink. I think it's Melon Mambo, Daffodil Delight, and Pool Party. Really, really pretty. Okay, first off, let's get some stamping done. And this is a photopolymer stamp set, so I'm using my Stampin' Pierce mat to get that foam support that we need. This is a piece of basic white. It is a 5 1/4 by 3-inch piece. I'm going to grab the large flower and my Tuxedo Black Memento ink pad. And you can see I'm kind of twisting this. I find with a Memento it works better, and then I pounce there at the end. I think it inks it up a lot better when I do that twisting and then just pounce on a little bit. Take away any lines I might have made with the twisting. So here is the big flower. Then we're going to grab the smaller flower. All these are going to be die cut. I'm going to try to leave some space so maybe we can get all of these die cut at the same time. Then we'll take the leaf one. I'll put this one right here. And then we've got the last leaf one. And I will put that one over here. So that's all the stamping we need to do on this piece. I want you to grab a piece of crumb cake. It is a 3 1/4 by 1/2-inch piece. And we're going to grab the congratulations stamp and the Granny Apple Green ink pad. And then we will stamp this and get it right in the middle. I think I've got it in the middle. Let's see. Not too bad. So now we've got our congratulations. Now, let's go ahead and let's stamp the inside while we're at it. Let's keep the Granny Apple Green out. I'm going to grab my inside piece. This is a 4 by 5 1/4. I need to grab my chamois here because we're going to use the big flower, so we want to get that cleaned up because we're not using black with it. And we want to grab the 2-leaf and this one right here. Okay, I'm going to grab my Pool Party. On the inside, we're not going to color these in, but I want to show you how they look with just coloring, stamping them in a color. So here's my big flower with the Pool Party. I'm going to put here in the bottom right corner. Isn't that pretty? I think this is just going to make it have a nice little inside decorated. I always like to decorate my insides. If you've seen any of my videos, you see me do this all the time. And then I'm going to take the 2-leaf one and put it up here at the top. And then I'll take the bigger one. This one's going to go down here. I think I'm going to have it go off the page just a little bit. So there we go. We've got our inside done. Now we've got all the stamping done. But now we're going to color these. So we'll bring these back in. I'm going to get my Stampin' Pierce mat out of the way. I'm going to color this with Daffodil Delight in the middle and Pool Party on the outside. So I don't know if you can tell. Let me get this up a little higher. There's some little bitty spaces in the center. I'm going to use my dark Daffodil Delight and color those in. Just like so. And then I'm going to take my light one and color the whole thing in, going over the dark a little bit. And then if that blended too much, and I think it did, I'm going to add a little more color again because I kind of don't want them blended really, really good in that center. I like having those little spaces a little darker. Oh, and there's another little space right here. Okay, so we are done with the flower center. I'm going to grab my Pool Party. I always start with the dark. You can start with the light. If you start with the light, you color in the whole thing, then add your dark, and then you go back with the light to blend it in. But I start with the dark. I want all of the base parts of the flower to be dark, of the petals, I mean. So I'm going to go over here. You want to go over it a couple times because you want to saturate the cardstock. So you just keep doing this. Make them jagged. See how I don't have them even? It's not like a little swirl. Because when you look at a flower, you're not going to see perfectly shaped shading in your flower. So I'm just going to keep going along. Keep doing this until I've got all of the petals with the dark Pool Party. Okay, I think I've got all of the dark in there. And one thing I did forget to mention, when you use the blends, make sure you use a light touch when you're using the brush tip. That way you don't fray it, and it doesn't need to be a lot of pressure used at all to get the ink to come out and work. So now I'm going over the whole thing, blending in the dark, and I'm going over everything. Like I said, the whole thing is going to be colored in with the light Pool Party now. And I'm going to do a few here. And then if you look at some of the ones I did before, you can see how the dark is a little too dark right where they meet. So I'm going to go over where the two blend, where they meet, color those in. And now it's blended in more. And it's not such a stark difference. And I can keep adding light if I need to. Now these little spots here that look like they're folded out, I'm not going to go over with my light again, because when I go over with the light just a little bit again on a second layer, it does darken the light up a little bit. So if I don't color in these little sections here, those are going to stay light, and it's going to look like 3 shadings of the Pool Party with just using 2 of our markers, since there are only 2 shades available. It makes it so it's like having 3. So I'm going over some of these again just to get that Pool Party blended and make the light here a little darker, and then leave those folded areas lighter. And I'll do this for the rest of the flower. Okay, I think I've got it blended pretty good. So that's how the flower looks when you're all finished. See how it looks like there are 3 shades. The folded parts are a lot lighter than the rest of it. Just makes them pop a little more. So now we're going to grab the Flirty Flamingo to do this one. So grab both of those. We're going to do the same concept, except this one's being littler and they're not folded over like these. We're not going to have 3 different shades. But once again, I'm going to start with my dark Flirty Flamingo. I'm going to do the base of the petals. This one is a lot easier, or a lot faster, I mean, because it's smaller. The other one's just as easy. It just takes a little bit longer since it's a bigger flower. So I'm going to keep doing this. This one looks like it's kind of up a little bit, so I think I'm going to make this be the base. Because we're kind of looking at the other side of the flower. It just kind of looks like it's folded up a little different, and this one's back down again. Okay. You just do whichever way looks best to you. Every time I look at this flower, it looks a little different. So now I'm going to bring in my light Flirty Flamingo. Color all of these in. Actually, I will kind of use a little different shading here. I'll show you here in just a minute. So I'll just get all of these colored in, going over the dark as I go. And then I'm going to show you what I'm going to do here. This one's going to take a minute, so I'm not going to bother to fast forward since it's so small. Okay, now, once again, the shade's really dark. I'm only coloring right where these 2 meet. I'm going to leave the very ends of the petals. I'm not going to color them again with the light. So they stay a little lighter than the rest, but I'm still going over where those 2 meet. Now, some of the smaller ones, there's not going to be much light on the end. a little hard to do that, but I still want to make sure I blend those shades together. And you just keep blending until it looks good to you. And I think that looks pretty good. So now we've got that one done. Now we've got the leaves. So let's grab the Granny Apple Green. We're almost done with the coloring. Once again, start with the dark. And this one, I'm going to do like I did the leaves. I'm just going to do the base, the bottom of the leaves. Make sure it's jagged with the dark. Okay, that looks pretty. Oh, let's darken that up a little bit. That looks good. Grab my light. And we'll pull the dark up into the light. Get those blended. Okay, now I'm going to look at the shades again. I can tell that this needs blended a little bit more, so I'm going right where those two shades go together. So it's a gradual change. Same with this one. There we go. They are all blended. We're all done coloring, so let's get our die cutting machine out. Okay, to die cut with a Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, you need the base platform number 1. And I'm going to use our brand new magnetic plate. Love this thing. If you saw my earlier video, I've already shown this, but I'm going to show you again in case you missed it. When we had this before, after you used it a few times, it would warp on you. Well, they have taken care of that. You turn it over and there is a metal plate here, pretty thick too, and it's heavy. I couldn't believe how heavy it was. So it makes it so it doesn't warp, but you still have the full magnet all the way across here. This is a cutting surface here on the top where it says Stampin' Up. So wherever you want the logo to be sitting up. Now in the illustration, I thought it was wrong and the Stampin' Up just let us know. It originally said to put the thin die plate on this. You don't do that. You just do the base platform, then the magnetic plate, because with it being thick, you don't need that die plate. That middle part actually takes care of it's about the thickness of the die plate. So we put this down. We are going to grab this one here. This is the only piece that we need to do any die cutting. Oh, I take that back. We do have one more. I will show you that here in just a minute. Let's grab this leaf here. And the magnet works so good. I'm so glad I don't have to use that tape. That tape worked great. It was nice while I was waiting for the magnetic plate to come. But now I don't have to mess with all that tape when I remove my dies, because that can be cumbersome after a while, especially when you're doing a video and trying to hurry. So I'm going to put this right here. Just make sure you get those images within the opening of the die. Now let's figure this one out here. Sometimes you have to kind of find, see, this is it this one? Oh, it is. I saw how this one kind of stuck out a little bit, so I thought didn't have as much to it. There we go. You just find a petal that's a little different than the others, and you can usually find how to get that placed. This one's a lot easier because you know the stem is going to be down there at the bottom. But if you notice, the dies are staying in place while I do this. I love it. Now we're going to grab this standard cutting plate to put on top. Just put this down, and you run this through. And we will have all of these die cut with not having to mess with the tape. So we've got this one. Just get all the dies off. See how easy that was? And we've got our pretty colored in images. And now we are going to die cut one more thing, because we've got this beautiful background die I said we were going to use. Now this one I don't necessarily have to use the magnetic plate because it's not lining up with anything, but I'm still going to go ahead and use it since I've got it out. You want to grab the last piece of basic white that we haven't done anything with. This is a 3 by 4 1/4. Put this down. I'm just going to put this close to the middle, like so. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Maybe put it up just a little bit higher, because that needed to go up a little bit higher. Now we're ready to go. Put our standard cutting plate on top. Run this through. I think I'm going to run through it twice. I can't remember if I had to before. I don't think I did. But whenever it's got a lot of little things to die cut, I'll go through twice, just to be on the safe side. Now oh, look at that. All those little pieces kind of stuck to the magnetic plate. Boy, I'm going to remember that. That was nice. Oop, I got a little bit of stuff on there. There we go. Look at that. Now, some of these are folded. They're just kind of a detail thing. So those don't pop out, because you can kind of tell they don't cut all the way around. So that is the way it's supposed to look. Very nice and simple. And they all stayed on the magnetic platform. I love that. Okay, let's go ahead and get the die cutting machine out of the way and we'll finish this card. Okay, let's grab the card base. This is a 5.5 by 8.5 piece of Pool Party. We will get those corners lined up. Grab my bone folder. There we go, get that nice crease. Let's grab the piece of designer series paper. This is from that Hue of Happiness DSP. This is 3 by 5.5. I'll put some adhesive on here. I love this side too. Went back and forth on which one I wanted, and I decided on this one. So if you want to try the other side, you go right ahead. It is your card. Mine is just a starting point. You never have to do exactly what I'm doing. Now I'm going to put this over here. I'm going to still leave a little bit of Pool Party showing here on the left. I'm not going to put it all the way over to the fold. I'm lining up the bottom edge of the paper with the card base. There we go. Isn't that pretty with all the different colors? I love that. Now I'm going to grab a piece of Daffodil Delight. This is 3 1/4 by 4.5. I don't know why I just turned that over, but a lot of times I do check because every once in a while there might be a blemish on one of the sides. This one had both sides were fine. So sometimes I'll turn it over and then use the worst side on the back. Now this one is going to go at an angle like so, probably about right here. Okay. Then we're going to grab this piece, and I'm only going to put adhesive on the corners, maybe a little bit here. I don't want any of the adhesive in the openings. Okay. So we're going to let's put a nice long one right here since there's not much here. We'll go this way in this corner. I always like to make sure I get my corners with adhesive so those don't pop up because those are usually the first things to pop up. That looks pretty good. There's a little bitty spot here. Maybe I'll put a little bit right there. So I made sure I didn't put any where the openings are. Now I kind of liked it better this way. You can do it this way if you like this one hanging up. It's whichever way you want to go. And I'm going to do it like this. Maybe move it over a little bit. That looks pretty good. And we've got the yellow showing in the openings. I really like that. Okay, let's grab our flowers. We're going to add these next. Actually, let's grab the congratulations. We'll just go ahead and put that on because we don't want that to get messed up with the flowers. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll just go ahead and put a strip all the way across. I'm going to line the right edge of my greeting with the right edge. Oops, turn this around. You make sure that fold is on the left before you put it on. Oh, I did have that sticking up. That's okay. I'm not going to worry about it. I had it upside down, didn't I, when I put that on? Okay. But either side looks good, so I'm not going to worry about it. So now we've got this. I'm going to angle it to me because I can tell it's cockeyed. And then I'll show you. There we go. It's a little easier to make these in person rather than in a video because I'm always at an angle. There we go. So we've got that there. We are going to put these two on with dimensionals. So let's go ahead and turn these over. And I'm going to keep them within the center because I'm going to be sticking those leaves underneath, and it's a lot easier not to have those dimensionals in the way. But having 3 there, that's going to keep it from wobbling. This one's kind of little, so I think I'm just going to put one. Let's see here. You know what? I'm going to use my little half ones here. Because just using one dimensional, I'm still afraid that it's going to, wobble on me. So let's do one right here. Still leaving a little space if I have a leaf that's going to go, and I do have a leaf. I just looked up at my card. It's been a long time since I made this card. I couldn't remember. So these are kind of separated, but that's going to keep it from wobbling on me. So let's bring the card back in. Before I attach them, I'm going to lay it down to see how I like it. Oh, and I forgot to color in. Let's hurry up and do that. I'm going to grab the light. I'm going to use my little blunt tip on this one. I forgot to do the stem. We want to color that stem in. I'm not going to worry about shading on this one because it is so little. Okay, I'm going to color it, I think, in a little bit more with a dark because that didn't show up more. One thing I've learned with the blunt tip, it does take a few more layers of the coloring with the blunt tip. The brush tip is a little juicier, I think. It's not that that one's drier, it's just it's harder and it takes a little more coloring. Okay, we were going to put this down here in the corner. I'm going to lay them down like we started to do. And that's going to go there. I think that looks pretty good. Maybe I'll move it over. No, you know what? I think I want it more this way because we got to put a leaf over here. So let's go ahead and see where we want those leaves too. I know I want to stick one down here. There, now I think I've got that where I want it. I kind of like it angled a little more. So we can kind of move these out of the way. Gently lift this up. Take your pick tool and take all of my little paper backings off. Scoop them up. And then I'm going to take this flower, put it right back where I had it. That looks good. Now I'll take the paper backings off of this one. And we will stick it back over here again, where it looks pretty good to us. I think that looks good. I'm going to just take my regular adhesive and put it on this one. There we go. And now, because I don't have any dimensionals under this, I can put this one right here. There we go. Actually, I put that in a little different spot, but I like it. I think I had it over a little more because it was over the leaves. But whenever you duplicate cards, a lot of times it's going to look a little different. So we're going to go ahead and grab some more adhesive for the little flower. And we'll put it. Does that look good? Yeah, that looks good. So now we've got our outside almost done. We've got to use those glossy dots, though, don't we? So I'm going to bring those in. This one I've been using. And you could use different colors if you want to bring more colors in here. Since these were a little dark, actually daffodil would still work too. But since I had this big daffodil, I decided to just use the Pool Party. So I'm going to use one of each size. I'm going to grab the big one. And let's put it down here. Going to grab the medium-sized one. Oops, I can get a hold of it. There we go. I'm going to put that over on this side of the yellow. Then we're going to put a little one on the white layer too. And let's put it up here. Now, if you want to add more, you go right ahead. But that is how I finished the outside of the card. Now we'll get this done real quick and add our inside. Turn this over. Get that adhesive on there. Like so. Open this up. And I just thought having those flowers look like this on the inside just looked nice. It's just a nice way to do it without having to color it in again. I thought that turned out really good with the Pool Party card background. Okay, that's the end of the card. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you'd like to stamp with me again, please make sure you click that subscribe button below and then click on that bell icon and select all. That way YouTube will notify you every time I upload a video. Now, if you live in the United States and do not have a demonstrator of your own, I would love to be yours. Here are the 2 current catalogs that are out right now. This one just started, and this is the annual catalog, is where you can find the suite. So I will be happy to mail your first set of catalogs out to you for free. Just click the contact me link below and send me your mailing address, and I'll get it mailed out to you right away. So let's look at that card one more time. Hope you enjoyed today's video, and thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your business. And please support my channel by giving me a thumbs up or commenting below. See you guys later. Have a great day. Bye.